Hello, hello, good day, good day. Welcome everyone. Hello, Adam.
Hello, Alexei. Hello,
So,
everybody.
I would like to present Adam. Actually, our today's session will be handled together with him. So Adam maintained his personal budget for a long time, for a few years. And I think Adam today will share his experience, his view on that, and how he started to do this, what kind of conclusion he did, and uh, what kind of next steps will be here. I would like to remind that today's session there is a second session in our journey where we are sharing part by part some basic things, some basic parts of financial literacy and previous part, you can check on YouTube channel, you can check on via community. So if you don't know how to find it, feel free to ping me. I'm happy to share some addresses where you can find it. So today we are going to talk about family budget and how to maintain family budget, why do we need it, and so on. So how our presentation will be. Uh, what uh, uh, what is this? What we will talk about, and so on. So I will cover the first part, some general things, what is the budget about, what we need to do with the budget, what kind of ways we can use to budget maintenance, and uh, I will pay some attention on difficulties and how to overcome with difficulties here. Adam will share his experience. Adam, would you like to add a couple of words about your parts, kind of outline topics?
Yeah, so basically, I will start, let's say, from the beginning of the journey I had through last, I don't know, 6 year or something like that, or even more, right? As the evolution of my budget, what worked or didn't work for me. And at the last but not least, I will show you the Excel file, the current budget I'm using. So, yeah, spoiler here. So yeah, you will see how I do it right now, and you will be able to compare how it started versus how it's now, right? And maybe some next step that are, yeah, just still to be done somewhere in the future.
Okay, okay, great, great. I would remind everyone that feel free to ask your questions during the presentation, even if we will have a dedicated Q&A session. If you have a question in your head, feel free to put it in the chat on YouTube channel or via community platform, right? If we will be able to handle during our presentation, we will do it. If it is related with some a little bit mm, um, outstanding topic, right? Maybe not so strictly connected with the presentation content, we will touch it in Q&A session. So during my part, uh, Adam, feel free to ask me some questions that will come to your mind as well, and we will do the same during your part. Okay?
Sure thing. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. I think we can proceed and let's talk about budget and what is budget is. So, uh, first of all, I would say that some people think that the budget will solve all their problems with finance. It's not true, right? And what budget can do that help you with understanding your income and expenses amount. That's obvious thing. However, I faced many people who said that, come on, I don't need to do this. I know how much money I earn, right? I more or less know how much money I spend. That's all. Why do I need budget, right? So, uh, however, if this point doesn't bother you, you're fine with what you have now. Think about future, or think about maybe you have some not good habits here, right? Might be you spend some money for things that not actually necessary for you, that you need not need, sorry. And might be you can kind of optimize your spendings. I try to avoid would decrease spendings. I would like to say it optimize. Why? uh, on my previous sessions I also mentioned that uh, it's not a way that we need to decrease our spendings in all time. It doesn't look like this, because when you spend money for something that you like, and in after some period of time you will stop doing this, you will not receive this kind of dose of dopamine, right? You will not like things like this. You will not like cheaper things. However, instead of that, you can think how you can optimize it, how you can plan some things in advance. Maybe you can visit. Uh, Maybe you don't need to spend money exactly for these things. However, you can find them kind of cheaper constitution of that, kind of another thing with the same quality. Or maybe you will have some agreement with your spouse that you will change uh, you will change budget for you will change your spendings habits, and you will change a proportion of budget. And the key point here that you both will be satisfied with that. So what else budget about? At least for me, budget help to understand net cash flow. What is net cash flow? We have income, right? I mean net income after tax, income after tax, and we have our spendings. Income after tax minus spendings, we have net cash flow. This amount of money we can use for savings, we can use for investing, we can use it for fun, we can use it whatever we want. And uh, understanding this saving rate, understanding this net cash flow, helping us with long-term planning. Because I also maintain budget for myself for the long time, and this net cash flow helped me with mm, with covering some short-term goals and kind of adding predictability level for the mid and long-term goals. How it works, I will show a bit later. Uh, Talking about mid and long-term percentages, how it works in my way, in my plan, right? In my budget. If year per year, I know at which season I spend more money for some things. For example, in the middle of summer, I have a vacation and I prefer spend time on the sea, right? And I know that at this period of time, I will have some significant spendings. Okay, how I can optimize it? I can book my apartment a long time before, and I will have some discounts here. I can check some cars where I some available cars where I will rent my hotel, right? And I will that's a chance to receive cheaper price. I can book flights a long time before and will receive cheaper price. So and also this vacation will not be completely unexpected for me. I have prepared for them, and I will have required amount of cash if I need this. I will have required amount of money on my debit card. So, and I will be prepared for that. And to track this, I have a special category in my budget, and it is also in line with my expectations. So um, I know some people that prefer kind of ad hoc vacation. Just in Friday evening, they decided that we'll spend Saturday and Sunday in some country and took a flight to that. That's that's also a good point if you would like to change an atmosphere and move to another location to have a rest. However, it might be not so good from the budget perspective because this one is not planned and mm, could lead to overspending. So, exactly the same point with predictability of full spendings, right? And making database decision, I already made an example how I did it. If I have some data, I understand how much money I spent per month, how much money I spent per year. I understand, and I can predict it in following year, just adding some inflation level, maybe not official inflation level, but inflation level based on my own budget. Actually, it will be different than official level because each of us have different set of products, have different kind of structure of consumption, right? And that's why each of us will have slightly different inflation level for our own consumptions. So, having that, I can predict how much money I will need in the next year, how much money I can earn potentially in next year. So, and I can build my plans for the future. When we will talk what budget is not, is not a step-by-step instruction what you need to do. By doing budget, you it it not will lead some budget can't make a decision instead of yourself, right? There is just a data. How you will interpret this data, it's up to you. How you will maintain this data, it's up to you. So in definitely it's not a silver bullet to solve financial issues. You still need to think, you still need to analyze and plan your spendings and plan your income. Uh, Probably last point that I would add here that budget it's like a compass. It's not a random picture here because it shows you direction, but you are responsible for actions here. Compass itself can't do anything. Compass only showed one specific direction, and that's all. And at least from my understanding, budget shows you exactly the same and help you not only with tracking your expenses, but when you use it in a proper way, it will help you to optimize your spendings. It help you to understand your net cash flow and plan the future. So moving forward, and there is an interesting question: why to budget? I would ask you to put your comments, to put your answers, to set why budget could be useful for you. Why do you, uh, sorry, it was my headphones. So, uh, why do you think about budgeting? Why you don't think about budgeting, right? Why do you think that budget could help you? So I will wait some time for your comments. I know that there is some lag, right? Uh, I will uh, let's uh, let's have some answers right before I will proceed further. I, s- I see we have many participants, so I will not going to move forward without some answers from you. Okay, we already have some answers. Save money, spend them more efficiently. That's right. To plan, agree, agree. Prioritize things, absolutely agree. That's a wonderful answer. To be happy. That's uh, you can't imagine how I am with that point because actually what everything what we do with the budget just to uh, make us more happy with our money, right? We we can do any boring stuff whatever we want, but if it will not make us happy, why do we do this, right? Distribute risks. That's also quite good answer because it is help us a bit decrease risks, right? And I would say uh, increase risk management, right? For our from our view. Uh, what's what else we have? I think that's all. So good. Let me proceed and describe the main purpose apart from being happy. That's definitely, and apart from all your answers, um, why I think it could be useful for me, right? And it could be useful for you as well. Uh, when I prepared to this presentation, I created the chart like this: time versus money, and I put myself into the place for dozen of years ago when I didn't have my budget, and uh, these these lines, these gray lines, there is a kind of predictability of my money in the future, right? Uh, Usually we could have kind of a funnel here, and then longer time, then bigger difference we have in our money. We could have quite low money in the future and quite big money in the future if we are lucky to find a great job, to find a great position, and so on. Or maybe staying with the same job, or maybe not controlling our finance. We could have low amount of money over some period of time, and so on. And when I did budget, what I saw that over the time, my budget making more predictable, have a higher predictability level. Even if we have inflation here, even if we have crises here, even if we have some not so good situation, I know how much money I spend. I know my internal, our family, I would say, um, inflation level, right? I know how much money I earn. I understand how my earnings change from year to year, right? I can approximately prolong this, how to say, this direction in the future, taking into account some assumptions, taking into account some constraints, right? But still, I in the reality, I will have a line like this, but I can make uh, a bit shorter this this funnel. make it a little bit more predictable for future. That's one point. Another point, what I would highlight that differences of budgeting over some years, over some period of time, I would say. So, first of all, talking about month. On the month level, it could be the goal could be understand where all my money go. So if you live from one salary to another one, not saving anything, you might asking yourself, so how where all my money where I spent all my money, and that's a good point to track, maybe using even item by item tracking, right, to understand your consumption habits, and focus here for short-term planning and track changes regularly and in details. Uh, if we are talking about a wider period of time, year, for example, that's a control of your budget and focus on midterm planning. Might be at this level you're not focusing on item by item, right? Maybe you will use categorization. For example, I use categorization in my budget, and in some period of time, Adam will share his approach for the budgeting, right? So here my focus on planning activities within the year and understand how I can use this data year to year, right? And my point here to increase net cash flow and create a financial goals to and increase my predictability. For 10 years period, this is reaching financial goals and long-term planning. Why? Because I have data from the month, from the year, and I can plan it with some how to say uh, with some level of the trust. All right, uh, it's not a kind of taking some ideas from the sky, right, and putting in my life plan, kind of I will have a villa in Italy in 10 years. Come on, how I can prove it? So having this data and understand my net cash flow, I can say, hey, uh, I I have this amount of money. I can multiply it. I can add some coefficients, right? That I know based on my data, and I can say that is it a real, is it a dream, right? It's something unreal, or maybe it is a real goal that I can achieve. Or maybe if I don't have enough money, here I can think how I can earn more money. If I realize that I have too much spendings, uh, I can replan my spendings. I can optimize them. So uh, as as a mm, as a conclusion here, that budget helps you to gain control of your finances on a financial stability way. At least at this point, I used for myself, right, to increase predictability. Probably for you, you will use it for different ways. If you do this, if you use budget for some different ways, share your opinion in the comments, right? And I will be happy to comment it to discuss it with you. Might be um, might be I'm not covering all kind of strategic goals here, right? So moving forward, and let's talk about difficulties with budget maintenance. The first difficulties what I have heard quite often related with some excuses that people saying that I don't have time, I don't remember my spendings, it's too boring, no one support me with this, I don't know how, and many others, right? And I would say that it's not a real problem. It is uh, just a attempt to delegate delegate this routine to something else, or saying that I can't do this because of many things. So if you understand why do you need budget, if you understand if it's really necessary for you, uh, usually people can find some time. People can persuade their partner to help with that, or build some budget taking into account his or her spendings. Uh, Build a budget for the family. Uh, it's not a point that I said that budget is a mandatory thing for everyone. No, people live without budgeting, so and we know that it is possible, and people have their own opinion to do that, right? So, and if you know you need the budget, I think you will also treat such points as excuses. If you think that if you think in this way, I clearly understand that budget is not necessary for me, or because one, two, three, four, five. Okay, uh, I I will park this question, and might be I will back to this in a 1 year, in a 5 years, whatever, right? If you make this decision, okay, fine. Another group of excuses, I would say, set it like a mindset. When people said that it does not make sense because, and saying also some things about this, right? For example, I remember my spendings, no need to track them. Uh, 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 I I have Mm, I have spent all everything from salary to salary, and have nothing rest. So does not make sense to count this small amount of money, right? And uh, people who say that we need to earn more instead of track our expenses. That's true from a earning perspective, right? However, uh, mm, it doesn't say that we don't need to track them. We need to understand how much money we spend and how much money we earn. If we don't have one of these point, it will lead to maybe not good planning in the future, right? And another group here related with I can heard from the people that started to do a budget, but forget about this, dropped it out. And these people usually said that they don't remember some spendings, they can't that can't join next period of time with the past one, and how to deal with that. They don't remember some spendings for some items and so on. M- uh, People also complain that they don't have habit to do budget, right? Because you need it. You need some kind of habit. For example, I check all my spendings week by week. At the evening, I check everything, and put my spendings, put my income in my budget, and I have a long history week by week, right? I know that for some people, monthly period is okay. For some people, is daily period is okay. However, I think daily might be quite challenging, especially if you have busy day, if you have kind of traveling day, something like that. right? So um, moving forward, by the way, if you have questions here, feel free to to type it. Feel free to write it, and I will answer the questions just uh, just during the presentation, right? So, moving forward and talk about a third group of difficulties. Um, this group uh, related with kind of bit more realistic differences with budgeting, right? I I know people who has too many accounts, and they asked me how can I maintain all these accounts in the budget. For example, a few years ago, I was in the situation uh, when I have multiple debit cards and I paid different debit cards depends on the situation. For example, for this purpose, it makes sense to pay by this card. For another purpose, by that card. This card I use for internet payment. Another one I use to transfer my money to relatives, and so on. Right? And at the end of the period, how can I compile all of these things? So might be you will use some application for that. Might be you will use kind of custom Excel file to combine all of this. It might be challenging. Yeah, I believe. Uh, it might be challenging some irregular spendings. Uh, when how I mentioned at the beginning, if you have a kind of unplanned trip, right, it might affect your budget. If you have kind of big spending uh, um, right now, or not planned spending, not planning big spending, it also could affect your budget, and your statistics could be not aligned here. So and some it will be impact on your graph, not in good way. So um, especially when you calculate average things, or average for some period of time, for 12 weeks, for 1 month, for 1 year, and so on. Uh, if you change your budget structure quite often, especially at the beginning when you just start to do this, that's a quite often things that you think that you will have structure like that. After 1 month, you realize that this structure is not so optimal. You need to change it. After second month, you also decided to change it again, and so on. So and it might be difficult to process all historical data here. uh, I would say that's a temporary process, and when you will find the optimal structure for you, this problem will disappear. What else? Various or complex loyalty programs. Um, yeah, this case also happened with me when I had a loyalty program for some petrol station network, for some petrol station that suggested me a loyalty program saying something like that. So you can accumulate some points, and if you can pay, you can use these points for your petrol. Uh, it will give you 15% of discount if you will uh, tank more than 30 liters. I'm saying, what? I I don't understand how it works. If 1 point equal $1, it's simple. If 1 point equal 1 cent, it's understandable. If you if you try to sorry, my headphones is starting to switching off. So if you mm, if this loyalty program is not clear for you, it is complex, it might be difficult to track them. We have some bank of miles in different how to say, in different companies. How can we use it? How can we plan these booking our flights, right? Uh, or might be we have gift cards for different shopping malls. How can we track them? That's also could be challenging, especially if you use it in a quite often way. And if you have if you have different credits, loans, if you need to create a special repos, it might be difficult. uh, because you're trying to achieve something, but you face it with a kind of real issues here. And what kind of maybe universal hint I would say here, that um, don't don't leave a budget because you can't track 10 more accounts, right? uh, Try to use solution-oriented approach. Try to Google. Try to ask people around you how they do it, if they have the same case and how they maintain it, right? Ask people on the internet, on some forums, how they solve this issue, and might be you will find a solution that will be applicable for you, because for that period of time, I'm sure that humankind find them solutions for majority of problems related with the budget. So I'm pretty sure that you will find a way how to solve it. So let me proceed further and uh, talk about the different ways of budgeting. Uh, Probably some of you have heard about 50, 30, 20% rule, right? When we spend 1% for some things, another percentage for second group, and the rest for the third group. So also we have different allocations. There are actually many approaches how we can target our budget. However, what I would say, that for me personally, I not following any of them. I am following my own preferences because this is my own budget, and I don't want that somebody who never knows me, who never see my budget, who never meet me, saying that I should spend 50% on my mortgage or car payment. Come on, that's my life, and I would like to manage this, right? And that's why I define it this for myself. And for example, in this month, it could be percentage like this, it could be allocation like this. In different months, it could be completely different, but year per year, I have more or less the same allocation in my categories. So, and the main points that I would like to highlight here, that budgeting approach should be comfortable and clear for you. Uh, and as Evgeny mentioned, it should bring happy to you, right? It should be easy to maintain. It should be flexible enough. And uh, o- back to the question, why do you need budget? That it should be informative for you. It should provide you some data for making uh, data-driven decision, right? And it should be agreed with your spouse. Uh, so um, uh, the last but not least point, that it should be regular. Before budgeting, ask yourself how much time I can afford for that. Would it be comfortable for me to do it on a daily basis? Would it be comfortable for me to do it on weekly basis? If weekly basis, when exactly you will do it? On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, when exactly? Maybe you can attach it to some another how to say, another event in your life, right? How we can develop a habit. We try to attach it into something, make a kind of anchor, right? And and positive result after that. Tr- uh, think about this, how you will develop this habit. If it will be monthly basis, think how you will track changes during this month, and how you will track cash spendings. Because if you pay something on the card, you can check your bank account. If you will pay something on the cash, how you will track it. So um, probably here I would I'm saying a lot of about different approaches, some difficulties, and currently I would pass a word to Adam, and Adam will describe his budget and his approach that Adam implement on daily basis, all right, for his budget. Adam, welcome.
Yeah, okay. Hello, guys. So, yeah, looks that uh, now it's time for me. So, yeah, Vasil, if you can change the screen, thanks. Okay, so basically, guys and ladies, how it uh, began for me, right? As you can imagine, even by the screen, right? It was, yeah, we were preparing with my back then fiance to the wedding, right? And yeah, what to do in such situation, right? We had some kind of bills to pay, right? We had quite some money to uh, arrange to figure out how to get it, right? And yeah, on the other hand, uh, I had just one salary. My wife was then still on the college in students, right? So yeah, it was pretty difficult for us at the beginning in how to deal with the situation, right? So that's when we started thinking on how to uh, use the money to be able to yeah to have the wedding, right? So yeah, that's how it basically started, right? So we started with very simple tries with different applications on Android, on Windows, yeah, on web, anything. And yeah, basically there is plenty of tools available, right? But actually, honestly, none of them really fit my needs, let's say, right? Uh, at the beginning, I wanted it to be simple, yet I wanted to have some flexibility in that, right? So I can uh, yeah modify, play with income, outcome, with jars, buckets, envelope, whatever and however we want to call it. So yeah, I require the flexibility on the one hand, but also what I needed, what I wanted, right, uh, was the possibility of getting the access to it from different devices. And yeah, that was a bit tricky, honestly, to have it on the phone, to have it on one, two laptops, something like that. Yeah, to be able to get to the content from basically anywhere, right? And that's where we started. I started to use the simple Excel file, right? Uh, and covered the Excel with cloud, not to promote any clouds, but yeah, basically with email account. In some vendors, you also get some gigabytes on their clouds with synchronization available, etc., etc. So yeah, that gave me the possibility to have the budget, have the file on any device I wanted, right? At any time I wanted. The only requirement was that it had to have the battery right life, and yeah, I need to have the connectivity to internet. Yeah, but the file itself was pretty small, so it was easy peasy basically, right? After some time, after the wedding, uh, majority of our funds, our costs were basically gone, right? So we started to thinking for the next item, right? And yeah, as you can imagine, two newly married guys, right? What may be the next? Yeah, and yeah, pretty obvious, I believe, right? Is the apartment? Yeah, is the flat that we have right now. You see part of it in my background, right? And yeah, as you can imagine, we were just after the wedding, right? My wife still wasn't working, right? So we just had my salary, and yeah, we needed to manage it. So we took mortgage, and that was our next biggest spender, uh, biggest part of our budget, right? So in here we already implemented few changes to our budget, right? We still kept some part of it as a fun, right? To, I don't know, go to the restaurants, movie cinema, yeah, to, I don't know, grab a bottle of wine or something like that, right? We started to have some bigger expenses budget. On the demo, you will see what I mean by that, because sometimes, I don't know, car goes down, or yeah, fridge or anything, yeah, it just stops working, and you need to buy it. And yeah, to not have our monthly budget killed, we implemented dedicated budget for it. Small back then, but yeah, just in case of something unplanned uh, by us, but a bigger expense occurred, then we were ready, we were prepared for that, right? Next part of it was the education, right? So I don't know, books, courses, language teacher, anything like that, anything we needed, we wanted, yeah, we had a separate budget for it. uh, that was also the time when we started thinking about others, about the gifts, I don't know, anniversaries, birthdays, Christmas gifts, like something like that, to be able to uh, give kids something on the Christmas. That's when our others budget started, and the rest basically was spent on the life, right? So any bills, yeah, community, etc., and mortgage payment, etc., right? So quite a lot we put in there. Right? And yeah, that's where it started. And as you can see, Route 66, and if you are aware, this is something really correlated to the budgeting journey, right? Because it's almost endless road, and that's how the budgeting basically worked for us, and I believe will work still somewhere in the future for the next decades, perhaps, right? It's never-ending story and never-ending evolution of it, right? So at some point we evolved to something like that, right? We split even the fun uh, to smaller categories like clothes, cosmetics, books, go outs, and yeah, basically anything else, right? We still kept the bigger expenses, education, and the budget for others. And we also split the life uh, part for the bills, commuting, and rest, right? Because yeah, we wanted to have a bigger control of where the money actually goes, due to yeah, increase in the bills, or yeah, change in the commuting, moving from here to there, right? The inflation, so anything we tracked, we wanted to have a better overview of basically what's going on in there. That's why we put even bigger granularity on our budget. And yeah, that's already something. If you recall, first slide, we started just with 3 items. In here we have, yeah, how many? I won't even count them. And basically, it wasn't that easy to implement it, right? Whoever from the family I showed it, yeah, it was something like, you are ridiculous. Why are you doing something like that, right? But yeah, it didn't stop us, and we saw it's actually working. At least it was working for us, right? So we had a common budget, two salaries going to, let's say, single bucket, and then split was done across the entire money. That helped us quite a lot. Yeah, we agreed with my wife that, yeah, it's the way we are going to deal with our family budget, right? And through the time, through the, yeah, experience, we went even farther, right? And in here, it's the time for a small demo session. So let me just for a second change the screen, and yeah, we'll be going to another point. Okay, and let's start sharing. Okay, window Excel. Okay, shared. So Vasil, please. Uh, Thanks. Okay. So, guys and ladies, I hope you see it. So, that's our current Excel file where we track our budget, our spendings, right? So, as you see, it's quite extensive one, right? Uh, don't care about the numbers. That's just examples, right? These aren't our real spendings. Just for show you the idea on how it actually works for us, right? So yeah, basically we made the split even farther, right? We divided the fun part for my wife's and mine, right? We added some more categories that are basically currently important to us. From time to time, they are basically changing, right? Because yeah, something else is uh, different. So yeah, that's how it's going right now, right? We have some common items like clothes, other go outs, right? But we also have some different categories. Like my wife have cosmetics and books, while I have just the aquarium spendings, an example, right? We still kept the bigger expenses, education, and for others uh, categories, right? But for the life, we went totally, let's say, insane in here, right? We split per bills, commuting, chemistry, etc., etc. And yeah, it's quite extensive, I would say. We put every single penny in here, right? But yeah, honestly, it does work, right? Especially when we check that we have multiple accounts, multiple bank accounts. So entering the values by every single penny, every single grosz, as in Poland, right, helps us a lot to track the money on the accounts, right? So in case we need to transfer part of the funds from account to account, it's much easier for us to track it, right? Because after every single transaction, when we are, let's say, at the end of the month, we are closing the month, and yeah, we are putting it as a previous period, right? And we are starting new current period as a blank page, let's say, right? And having it like that means also that at any single moment, we know our balance sheet, right? We know where are we at a specific moment, right? And in case that anything is not clear, yeah, we can easily go back to the table and check which specific account is wrong, right? And then track where the error comes from. So yeah, that's how it's working currently. And as you can see, we have quite a lot of different accounts. All that are separate accounts, it may be, I don't know, jars or envelopes if you are fan rather of money instead of banking, right? But yeah, that's something that helped us a lot, right? And this is our basically current uh, budget. And yeah, this is the, I think for now, the ultimate tool we are using and will be using for a while, because yeah, it worked for us, right? It may be not for everybody, right? But yeah, I don't mind. I don't care. It works for me, and that's the most important thing for me, right? But a part of the budget, a part of the balance for specific month, we also do some planning, right? Because right now my wife is also working, so we have two salaries. It's even easier for us to yeah uh, track the money and yeah prepare for the future. So right now. Uh, about the planning. As you see, after a couple of years of such budgeting, yeah, we basically get rid of the mortgage, right? So we were able to, yeah, to get rid of it, thanks to tracking, thanks to knowing where our money is basically going out, right? We're able to yeah manage to pay the last penny to the bank and yeah close the mortgage, right? So right now we just put our monthly salaries, right? Just imaginary values, but never mind, right? We have some specific buckets. Let's say uh, we know more or less already how much we spend per month on the necessities, right? So this is the item that Alexi showed you a few slides earlier, that the funnel was actually quite narrow, right? And here it is example of it, because we more or less know how much we are spending, how much we will spend the next month, right? So we can plan ahead and yeah, make the budget according to this plan, right? And based on that, as you can see, we count all our accounts, and all the rest we have more or less free, right? We can put some part of it to a new car and yeah, start thinking about the future, about the investments, about savings, about yeah, retirement, something like that. So this is our next step. So yeah, this is something still to be figured out on how to split it, where to locate it. But yeah, having the budget, keeping the budget, right, allowed us to control our money. And yeah, I believe it will also allow us to think in even bigger long-term perspective for the next 10, 20, 30 years, or yeah, or even more, right? So right now, here is the next step to think about the investment, and perhaps adding yet another sheet in this Excel to split the investment part even further, yeah, to particular types of investments. I don't know, obligations, actions, cryptocurrencies, basically whatever comes to my mind, to our minds, right, will be in there. So yeah, that's our next step from now on to discovering our journey, never-ending journey. And yeah, that's, I think, all from my end. Uh, yeah, looking at the chat, I see that Alexi is gone. So yeah, ladies, gentlemen, maybe any questions from your end? Oh, Alexi, you are back.
Yeah,
Good,
actually,
good timing.
yeah. I just a bit switched off my camera, just not to interrupt you. Thank you for great example. So, and before we will move to Q&A session, I would give you a small surprise here, that I would would encourage your participation with a gift card for Allegra, right? Everything now in electronic format, so I will pass you a code for a gift card for Allegra, just to encourage your participation. Adam, that's for you. uh, just encourage your participation, because you spent some time for preparation. You shared quite interesting things, right? And I think it should be, it should be encouraged. And I also would like to um, ask all participants here, feel free to ping me, exactly as Adam did, right? Write to financial literacy community gmail.com, and I am, or someone from our team will reach you, and we can find an opportunity. How can you help community? How you can share your knowledge? How we can help you with that, and so on. So, Adam, thank you one more time, and I think we can proceed with the Q&A.
Yep. Thank you too, Alexi, for this basically opportunity that I had, because yeah, it was nice experience to be here, right? So yeah, thank you as well. Thanks.
Okay, great, great. So, Uh, I know that some questions will publish it before the event. I think it would be good to start from them, and you will have some time to write your questions in the chat, right? On Facebook or via community platform. So, the first question. Uh, from yesterday. Does it make any sense to make PPK savings under the current galloping inflation? So I know that here we have people not only from Poland, and it might be difficult to understand what is a PPK. PPK, there is an employee capital plan to make sure that we will have something apart from government pension. We have some savings apart from government pension. So how I can address this question? So inside of PPK we have different funds, and by default depends on your age. You are assigned on some fund. There are different funds, and they have difference with risk level um, and different allocation of shares, bonds, and some other assets. So. Uh, and also shares might be represented by other funds and so on. So all in all, this program PPK invested in some securities, and as you know, all investments are related with the risk. And if investor is not ready to take a risk, so might be it worth to decrease amount of investing into risky items and increase kind of low risk allocation, right? So uh, I can't answer yes or no at this question, because everything depends on conditions, right? If I say yes, it makes sense. Tomorrow you will ask me, hey, my fund going down, and you said yes, right? If I will say no after 5 years, for example, I don't know, right? After 5 years, you will beat an inflation and you will earn XX percentage. It might be, it might be, right? I don't know the future, and I can't predict how this fund, what kind of result this fund will show in the future. So that's why if you take an investment risk, you expect some decreasing, you expect some increasing of that. However, based on history data, uh, investing in shares and bonds usually beat inflation, right? So might be here in a short period of time where we could be underwater. Uh, Taking into account history, I would say that after some period of time, we could beat inflation, but I can't promise this. I hope I addressed the question. So another one, Adam, might be that's for you. Uh, would you suggest a way or application to track expenses from different bank accounts? What is your opinion on open banking?
Yeah, so that's actually a bit tricky, yeah, because as I mentioned during my part, right, that I tried at least few applications, so there is no right answer to that question, right? Because you can play with a few applications, you can check if any of them is working for you, right? And if not, maybe you will just start doing the budget, I don't know, in notebook, right, manually, or in the Excel, or yeah, something like that. So basically depends on your needs. You may change the approach because yeah, it varies, depends on your needs for the flexibility, for yeah, features you seek for, and yeah, something like that. But on the other hand, uh, some bank accounts are already giving such features like budgeting, something like that. So maybe it's worth to kind of consolidate the banks into just one bank, right? And then open sub accounts in that particular bank, right? And it still gives you the uh, some kind of feeling of jars or split budgets, right? But you are on single bank account, just one application, and much more options uh, delivered by the the specific bank, the one vendor, right? About the open banking, honestly, I wouldn't be so sure. I know it's in theory pretty safe, right? But if would I give someone else access to my bank account? I'm not sure, honestly. I yeah, maybe I am a bit old-fashioned, but yeah, I prefer to keep the tracking on my own, and yeah, do not allow anybody to read the data directly from my account, right? So yeah, that's something I wouldn't go, at least for now, right? Even though I am into the cryptocurrency market, so yeah, I'm using something similar in there, right? But yeah, uh, giving access to my home funds for my living funds, or yeah, my savings, I would be more careful here, right? So yeah, that's a bit tricky, actually, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
I also would add here that if that's a no, question, what kind of organization you can trust, right? If you trust kind of top banks in the specific country, that's a one point. It might be cost you some amount of money to maintain your accounts. It depends on the country, right? So, however, if you will open some kind of free account on yesterday's startup and put all your savings there. So what will happen if this startup can't mm, can't live more? If this startup will go into bankruptcy, what will you do? I know that in theoretical way we have some insurance for our deposits. However, if you open, for example, a broker account, yes, formally in under European regulations, it is insured on 20,000 euro. But what if you allocated more, right? Think about this. I'm not saying no, I'm not saying yes, but uh, it's up to you. For example, I use some of them for some small payments, right? When I need to, when I try to understand how it works, I can transfer some low amount of money and check some functions, how it works. So, but at least from my perspective, I don't want to trust all my savings to one specific bank. So even if this is government one.
Yeah, especially in the situation when the startup is not yet a bank, right? Because
Yeah.
it happens, right? Not sure if you know Revolut in example,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
2 years ago, something like that, they weren't bank. So yeah, back then, if they are gone, your money is gone without any insurance, right? So that's something you need to be really careful because in the end, it's your money at stake, right?
Correct. Correct. So I think we can proceed with the next question. Uh, what should you do with dollar and euro savings in Belarus? So that's quite quite broad question, I would say, because from one side it could be treated as a financial advice if I will say keep it with yourself, invest it, keep it on that bank account, another bank account, transfer it out from Belarus or whatever, right? So it's up to you what you would like to do. If I can answer this maybe in a little bit general way. So if you plan to stay in Belarus and you have this money with you, probably makes sense to leave it some part of money with you, right? For some living expenses, for some long-term goals, and so on. And if you confident enough that some amount of money will not require for you for some period of time, 5 years, 10 years, and so on, you can try to invest them for some assets if you understand this topic, right? So if you're not understanding, how Buffett said that invest in things that you understand, right? Of I have another example. Actually, my parents, right? My parents, they understand only deposit and they understand only kind of cash in dollars in and euro. They asked me about some investing. I provided them some information. However, they don't understand it and then don't even try to do this because it is kind of beyond their understanding, right? That's that's why they prefer to put in instruments that they understand. Moving forward, and uh, I I see another question, and probably the latest, not the latest one. So that's maybe not a question, just a comment. The bigger we have, the frequent force majeure happens. Low low of big numbers, almost regular, something broke, something need to urgent medical care, and etc. etc. This is why budgeting is not work enough for big groups of people. Um, I would address this question in a that way. We are not talking about budget for some mythical group of people. We are talking about budgeting for yourself, for your family, right? And here you evaluate risks that could happen with your family, right? With your family members. If you think that there is some risk of health, you might buy insurance. You might conduct some preventing actions of this disease, right? If you think that your house located in not good way, also you can think about insurance. You can uh, actually you can think about your risks. You can somehow secure this risk, right? And and it doesn't against idea of the budgeting exactly for you, right? So when we will uh, talk about some expenses for emerging, uh, some money for emerging expenses. Uh, that's a emerging fund, right? You could have a small emerging fund just for kind of monthly, just for small things when you exceed your budget, and you could have six, ninth month um, savings just to be able to handle kind of bigger amount of money. For example, car incidents, right? If your insurance can't cover everything, you have this money. If you need unplanned visit to the doctor, you have some amount of money, right? You have emergency fund, and this exactly a way how to address some different risks, some short-term risks. For long-term risks, there is a planning, there is a proper planning. I think like this. Um,
Yeah, so let me maybe add my 5 cents here, because yeah, that's somehow connected to my part of the presentation and big expenses I showed, right? That's exactly here. So yeah, I agree with Alexi. You won't be prepared for everything, right? It's basically not possible, right? But you can prepare for, yeah, the most common, let's say, I don't know, fridge or car or something like that. You know that fridge, let's say, is 1.5k, something like that. Oven, second time, right? Of that. Maybe car, the, yeah, really, I don't know, engine or something like that. Let's say 3 4k maximum in most cases, right? So in case you have the budget kind of blocked, right? Basically on the daily, you do not touch it at all. You just leave it for such unexpected expenses, right? And you keep it on the level of 3 or 4k in example, right? So you know that most of the unknowns will be covered by it, right? So you won't be taken by surprise, right? And yeah, that's something that is really worth to consider, to have such money for the unexpected big events, right? Big expenses, because you never know what will going to happen, right? Like Alex said, maybe a doctor visit or something like that. It's, yeah, costful, right? So let's be prepared for that, and yeah, let's have the money on the jar, on the bank account, and don't touch it on daily basis, right? So leave this part alone, let it be in there. Doesn't matter if, yeah, the inflation is going or something like that. Through the time you can add more funds if the prices go up, right? But you will be prepared for such surprise, unwanted surprise, I would say. Right.
yeah, yeah, exactly, agree. Uh, and we have, I think, the last question for today, also about tooling. Have you found a tool service that support all your budget planning needs, or at least most of them? Uh, as Adam presented, it is Excel, right? I think so. So and I can cover my part here, and Adam, you will cover yours. For me, I tried different applications, and I for me, I need some flexibility to build a graph what I want, to build a statistic what I want, to build some numbers what I want. And for me, the best tool here is Excel, because Excel can calculate whatever I want. I can put some necessary graphs. I can calculate for weeks. I can calculate all my everything for weeks. I can calculate everything for quarter, for 1 year, for a few years, and I can compare this year with the previous one, previous with the year before, and so on. And I can calculate my own inflation level, and it is flexible enough to actually be uh, uh, be linked with my investment portfolio, right? Because as I mentioned previously, here we have net cash flow that I also use part of this net cash flow for my investments. So everything is connected in my way. Adam, maybe you
Yeah,
can add here.
basically exactly the same on my side, right? So I found that Excel gives me the best flexibility and gives me everything I want, right? Especially when connected with the cloud and synchronized to the cloud, right? I have it everywhere available, right? So it's even independent of the Excel, Microsoft Excel, because I can, yeah, upload and use the Google Sheets or use the Microsoft Excel online, right? Or, yeah, Libre, Open Office, anything. And yeah, I can open the file from anywhere, right? So yeah, it's additional layer of safety because I am not stuck to single technology, right? To single vendor that, yeah, gives me even more benefits, right? And the same as you, Alexi, I can play with the data. I can do some graphs, some automated calculations like uh, uh, how much funds we have till end of month and how it compares for day, let's say, right? So we know how much we can spend a day to, yeah, still being in line in budget, right? So that's really useful, especially that, as you saw, we are adding more and more tabs. We are adding more and more data, and yeah, with just a few clicks, we can use the data from another sheet in calculations here. So we can take last month budget, use it in current calculation, and I don't know, sum or, yeah, do some math on that and use for the future prediction, right? So we have flexibility over the, yeah, features, over the money, over basically everything. And the same as I see in the comments, like Lina mentioned. This is basically the same I did, right? So whenever we go below zero in any of the accounts, right, we also do it in red font. So yeah, we see the alert. Oh, come on,
Hmm.
stopping there, you are over the limit, right? So yeah, it happens, right? It's not hard coded that, yeah, we have that much money and yeah, that's it we have. So yeah, sometimes we need to, let's say, borrow from account to account. That happens, right? But having also the additional layer of alerting, the red pop-up screen or value, right, also gives us some visibility that, yeah, something is not going okay and we need to be more careful on the spendings. Yeah, so yeah, that's another thing Excel gives you basically out of the box. And if you want to go even farther, you can use the data for some, I don't know, business intelligence, let's say, right?
Hmm.
You can add graphs, analysis, I don't know, with Power BI or basically anything, right? So yeah, you have flexibility and possibility to use even other different more tools, right? That's basically amazing. And if you stick to small single vendor of specific application, there is slight chance that you will lose such possibilities, such features, right? So that's another story. But end of all, use whatever works for you, right? Because yeah, not everybody needs to stick to the Excel, right? Maybe you want to track it in more automated way via phone only, and yeah, feel free then go to Play Store or, yeah, whatever store you are using on the phone, right? And use any app from there if that works for you, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So I don't see more comments here. So I think we covered all questions. So thank you everyone for participation. Adam, thank you one more time for you. You covered that in excellent way. So and uh, I one more time, I would say call for speakers, call for contributors. If you like a content, what we do, you also can participate in that content. We can help you with the presentation. We can help you to make all things done, all things prepared. So and actually express your idea in a wider audience. So have a good evening and have a great end of the week. See you next time.
Yep.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you, guys. See ya. Bye bye.
Bye.